my name's Toby, and today I'm talking about art. Usually when I talk about art, it is over a speed paint or something like that, but listen, not all my content's art, alright? I know that gets me the most views and probably the most subscribers here, but I like doing other things too, so you're gonna have to sit with this face for a while, at least for the next 10 minutes or so. I don't know how long this is gonna be recording. But I wanted to talk about art because one of my friends on Twitter was posted something about my art. I do not like it. Like every single art, I go through hundreds of works in progress and nothing just looks right, and I can't seem to get it right. And I was like, I want to help them with that, and their art is amazing. I'd highly suggest you follow them. Their Twitter is snackboyboop, SNEKBOIBOOP, and they make some amazing art. I'm not exactly in the fandom that they are, but I do think their art is incredibly good, and I'd highly suggest checking them out. But I wanted to help them with that because, what is it? I don't go through art block that often. I just stop drawing and then I get back into it, kind of. But I wanted to help them because I like helping people. I don't get many opportunities to do that because I don't interact with people. But I think my replies went something along the lines of, it is completely fine to have hundreds or thousands of works in progress, art that you never finish, art that you never get to finishing, art that you just don't like. It's okay to not like your art. I have plenty of stuff in my art, in my sketchbook, in my other sketchbook, that I don't like, and that's okay. And to summarize that up, and it's just art that you don't finish, art that you never get to finishing, okay, I'm gonna use one of my gouache paintings that I recently did. I've been into Baldur's Gate recently, just saying, to put into context. I wanted to paint Will, but there's apparently no good pictures of him on Pinterest, and I wasn't about to go get my own, so I went to do Gale. I went to draw Gale, and this is the finishing piece for him. This is what he looks like at the end. I don't like it. There's something off with it that bothers me till no end, and I can't place my finger on it. And my mind first goes to, maybe it's too bright of the colors, because anytime I use kind of vibrant colors, it messes with my head a little bit, even though my room is almost entirely vibrant colors. My green's vibrant, but anytime I work with it, it just doesn't feel right with me. But there's something off about that. But am I going to beat myself up over it? No, because this art that you don't finish, art that you don't like, it is practice for the next good piece of art. It is practice for the next masterpiece you create. And you know what? Sometimes that can be backwards too. But with this, did I use colored pencil? I don't think I used colored pencil. That might have been the problem. But I use this as number one, a guideline of, if it has weird purple shading, try and get around that somehow. And also, using the mistakes I made here that I thought I made, and I genuinely can't remember what they were. But my next art piece was more experimental, and I don't want any comments about how my neck and my face are two different colors in this. But this was my next gouache piece. It's me, if you can't tell. And I love this art. And you know what I did? I used blue for, blue and purple for the shading around the eyes, like I did with Gale's. And it is practice. Learning from your mistakes is difficult. I'm not one who likes to do that personally. Like in any other space, mistakes are people's opinions, okay? But when it comes to art, learning from your mistakes is kind of a thing you need to do. And it can be difficult. I fully believe that. I don't like constructive criticism personally. Even though, I guess also to add to that, artists will always be their biggest nitpickers. You could look at a Leonardo da Vinci. He probably looked at his art and say, "There's a little something off there. I just need it." And I think all artists will do that unless they're narcissists, which is then they fully believe that their art is correct. Which is sometimes what I do when my family will. My family doesn't often point out things wrong with my work because I think they think like I'm a modern Rembrandt. Not really, but they have a lot of faith in me to draw things, and I don't know why. But they're like, "No, it looks perfect." I'm like, "There's a little shading off. There's a tiny pencil mark in there that I do not like, that I can see and I want to itch it out." But to other people, it's like, "This looks perfectly fine." And you have to, there's one artist on YouTube, I forget his name, so I now have to look him up. I found him. Scott Christian Sava. Would also highly recommend checking him out. He's a great artist. And the main guy who got me into gouache, even though I don't think he likes gouache. At least not too much. But I forgot what I was gonna say. Right. Sometimes you just need to walk away from your art a little bit. You just need to say, "Done. Leave it alone. Let it sit. Let it cook." All right. And then come back to it later. And you'll be able to see it in a new light sometimes. It depends if you're a very big nitpicker of your art or like a little nitpicker. And I also believe I said to get yourself out of a block or something, try and go back to your old art and recreate that. That's what I did for one of my old pieces of art, one of my first acrylic paintings. I found it. But stepping away and, leaving art alone, or go back to your old art and trying to recreate a piece and see how well you've improved from that. Learn from the mistakes you've made, which is what I did, as I'm repeating self. This was one of my first portraits. Not of myself. I know it looks similar right now, but this was actually kind of for an art thing for school. Even though it was my own project, we were supposed to do this in colored pencil, and I did like it. But this was one of my first portraits of a person, using the grid method, of course. And like a year two later, I remade it in the medium I use now more often than acrylics, gouache. And listen, I have warm lighting on, please. She does look a little cooked, I know. But there. She still looks cooked. I know. Listen, it looks better in person, I promise. However, it looks arguably closer to the picture now. She's cooked, I know. And if you want to see the art process, there's a video on that. There's a speed paint of this. But go back and remake your art. See how much you've improved. See how much your style has differed. See how much you've come from. I think PewDiePie, surprisingly enough, actually did a video where he drew for 100 days, and I didn't watch the video, but from the thumbnail, he looks like he's doing pretty well. And I guess that's beginner art, and for artists now, it's like, wow. But learning from your mistakes is very, very helpful. And I know that it sounds stupid to say over and over again, but it is very much true. And what is it? Stuff that I do to, like, when I'm like, I hate my art, is what I do, personally, I ignore it. I block it out from my memory. Like, what is it? I'm bringing in my Resident Evil hyperfixation right now. The first piece of art I ever did of Leon Scott Kennedy If it's here. Is he here? No. Where is he? There he is. First drawing of Leon Scott, but painting technically, of Leon Scott Kennedy. It's bad. To me, bad. And I think actually shortly after this I saw another gouache painting of Leon someone did it. It said, my first gouache painting. And I was like, oh, shut up. But not the greatest. I desperately tried matching the colors to the to the picture I was going off of, and you know, trying to get his ash blonde hair correct. And this was like really in the beginning of me trying to use my gouache, and I laid the paints on thick. However, now I'm used to my medium. Where is he? It's over here, sorry. I've painted a lot of people now. Same with my first painting of Ada. Looks awful. But now, it's slightly less. I messed it up, but my most recent painting of Leon Scott Kennedy, I think it looks really good. Is his hair super blonde? Yes. However, I don't care. And I think not caring is a very big thing and a nice thing to have when you're an artist. Because if you don't, you will stick on that I hate my art forever train for the rest of the time you're doing art. And it's going to be such a downer to yourself. Which is why I no longer do that. I'm just like, this looks off. And I stick with, like, I sound like a hypocrite. But, you know, acceptance is also a very good thing to have. And, you know, and if you don't like something, you can change it. Such as, this is promoting my art. This painting, one of my eyes looks really off. This eye, to me, is fine. It could use some work in post, which I might do that now afterwards. And this eye was, like, weirdly off. And you know what I did? I painted a star over it. I'm still not done. Don't comment on it. But you can learn to adapt and improve and improvise and all those other things. Because it is your art. Ultimately, it is your decision what to do with it. You can erase it, which is fine to do, by the way. You can change it. You can add a post-it note over the face if you don't like it and redraw over it. You can add colors. You can try to remove colors depending on the medium you use. It is okay to dislike your art. It is okay to erase your art. It is okay to do all of those things because in the end, it is your art. In the end, you're the person creating it. You have ultimate say over it, and I don't want to hear it. That's my thing on art. I'm very out of breath now. I'm very passionate about this. But thank you for watching. If this helped, that'd be fantastic. Anyways, once again, thank you for watching, and if you are still watching, why?